So, guys, today I'm with a very interesting guest. I'm with Mark Kapczynski, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of Gooten. And basically, they're doing some very exciting stuff. If you are thinking about, print on demand, if, looking into the production logistics, actions of an online store, I don't want to take too much away because Mark is going to give us an insight about what Gooten is all about, and also how they're thinking about their digital growth. So I'm very pleased to have Mark Kapczynski with us here today. So Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lucas. Appreciate it.
Very
Happy to be
good.
here.
Very good, right? So, I didn't take. I hope I didn't take away too much. Maybe give us an
No, no, no.
idea of what Gooten is all about in your own words.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we think of ourselves as a supply chain provider,
Mhm.
and we specialize in the term is called on-demand manufacturing.
Mhm.
And when we market ourselves and promote ourselves, we use the term print on demand because it's
Mhm.
a little bit more widely used term. But at the end of the day, we do on-demand manufacturing,
Mhm.
and we do this for about 50,000 merchants
Mhm.
of all sizes. So brands, retailers, just pure e-com businesses and so on. And the unique thing about what we do is we provide over 200 different product lines to the market. And so these businesses, these merchants that we work with, get to use any combination of those products to add into their product catalog, create customization options on them, put their own designs on them, create whatever businesses that they want on top of the products that we deliver.
Mhm.
And when they sell one of those products, we then manufacture it on demand for them. We put it in a box and then ship it out to their customer. So at the end of the day, they can have almost like infinite products and infinite inventory with never having to worry about seeing or touching it or having boxes, arrive at their office or house wherever they're running their business from and so on. So we try
Very
to make it
cool.
really easy for people to have this incredible supply chain without having to do anything.
Awesome. So if we obviously, if expand a little bit on the word print, that would be what that
Yeah.
would be mugs, that would be hoodies, that can be trays, that can be all types of products, right?
Yeah. Like I said, we have over 200 product lines that range from a ton of different apparel options, from t-shirts to hoodies, like you said, and so on. To we excel in blankets of all sort of shapes, styles, and colors. From baby blankets all the way up to these really nice like blankets. Like I got a bunch for my family for Christmas. Even everything's very high quality.
Mhm.
The thing also, if you've seen, there was a kind of a popular gift giving item over the holidays, this past holidays, which was to take a picture of, say, your family pet, like a dog or a cat, and then a number of merchants would take that image and want to basically transpose it into like a frame, right? A framed print of some sort, right?
Mhm.
And they might modify it to make it look funny or make it into a cartoon and stuff. Most of all of that was actually done by Gooten behind the
Mhm.
scenes.
Mhm.
So if you went to a website and you put in like, here's the picture of my German Shepherd or something, right? They would, make it look funny, whatever, and then have it sent out for print. And
Oh.
behind the scenes, that's all Gooten delivering on all those items.
And what would you say is the typical, does a typical client look like, Could you give us an idea, like who would be
Yeah,
typically, you leveraging the
yeah.
services?
Yeah, so we have about three or four different kind of industries that we support first. So
Mhm.
we're huge in what's called the personalized gift space. So this idea of like this wall art, with pictures of your dog or family or whatever on it. So that's big for us. Then there's the entertainment and merchandise space.
Mhm.
So we power thousands of stores where people are selling logos or album covers of different bands of all types, from like Willie Nelson in the country space all the way to other things in pop and alternative rock and so on. We even work with like people like the Rolling Stones and so on. So Kiss, the band Kiss, who
Mhm.
a lot of people are obviously familiar for a long time. So we work with those folks either directly or we work with them through agency partners. And
Mhm.
so personalized gifts, the sort of entertainment merchandise space. Those are kind of two big ones. And then the kind of growth areas for us are in fashion and apparel,
Mhm.
and then home decor and home goods. And mostly in those last two buckets of fashion and home goods, we're working with the brands themselves directly.
Gotcha. If we're thinking about that, different types of
Yeah,
clients that you were just describing, like especially you with your marketing hat on,
yeah.
what would you describe as a typical journey from somebody, hearing about Gooten and getting
Yeah.
started? Like, what would be the typical acquisition channels?
Yeah, so we have so it's interesting within our customer base, we have two types of customers as well. So we have the what we call owner operator type, where like you, Lucas, decide you're going to be in the t-shirt business or the wall art business, and you're going to create some cool pieces. And so we're dealing with you directly, and a lot of that actually. Almost 90% of our leads for that come from just simple Google searches, whether it's paid or organic from SEO, and that's a great channel for us because you as the business owner, you're looking for an immediate solution. We're that solution, and we'll be there to support you.
Yep.
For dealing with brands, as you can probably imagine, the journey is a lot more challenging, and you're dealing with, vice presidents of different, supply chain, a vice president of innovation, a vice president of sustainability, a vice president of you name it,
Mhm.
e-commerce, marketing. And so it's going through all the different layers. And so, as you can imagine, the customer journey is much more complex. And so, we use a combination of, outbound emails, and, we have our SDR team that's trying to do proactive outreach,
Mhm.
trying to draw people into different gated content that we have, which might be white papers, ebooks, and then we love to do webinars.
Mhm.
So we try to do a webinar maybe every week, even as a great tool to get these, executive level folks in to learn about a specific element of working with Gooten.
Mhm.
Because especially for the larger customers, you have to really develop that trust with them that they're going to outsource a big portion. Usually it's in the millions of dollars of business, of their supply chain to someone like Gooten. So they really need to trust us and feel comfortable working with us. And so you have a lot of touch points and a more extensive customer journey, that goes through kind of the cycles that you're describing, right? How do we first get that awareness? So, and get them interested. Once they're on our site and they're starting to engage with us, are we giving them the right gated content that, further educates them? And then, what do we do to ultimately convert them? And we also rely heavily on social media, usually like Facebook and Instagram for awareness, and then like LinkedIn for conversion.
Makes a lot of sense. I was actually about to ask you, like,
Yeah.
what the role of the website is, especially with that, I would say very different types of, personas. Like, what role does the website play in that sort of setup?
Yeah, it's actually been really hard. We're actually in the process of rebuilding our website right now, and hope to have it ready, in the mid-March to late March timeframe,
Mhm.
because that's exactly the challenge. Right now, I always think our website focuses mostly on that owner-operator type of client,
Mhm.
and doesn't necessarily appeal to the enterprise, larger kind of client. And so we have to rework our website so that it's almost like two faceted, where you'll have one portion of it that's very much enterprise focused, where it's like lots of information, lots of materials that people can download or engage with. And then for the owner operator, it's here's our product catalog, here's how you get going, here kind of the way the economics work, here's how you get a hold of someone on our sales team to get engaged, and more straight line approach.
Very cool. And where do you see, like, what is the sort of the vision that you have, or where do you see the room for improvement on the website?
Is everywhere an answer? um, yeah, I think the big thing is creating those different experiences, because
Mhm.
we do have different customer types, and then do it also by industry as well. And I think in our space, we have some competitors that offer print on demand, but they focus mostly on the very, very long tail of the industry,
Yep.
which is like literally like your mom wants to set up a t-shirt shop and sell like 5 t-shirts to her friends.
Yep.
And like that's not really good business for us. Our interfaces and stuff aren't really set up for that low volume. We're much more set up to handle larger volumes. And so for us, it's really making sure that the website is clear, that it communicates that, and that we're attracting those right people in the door, so that you know, as people are finding us, that they realize, okay, this is the right provider for me. This company can really handle kind of the scale and needs that I have. And, uh, up here, that like, I always think of it as like enterprise grade or professional grade, that it's like, it doesn't look goofy, right? It's like, you can trust this company, with potentially millions of dollars of business.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask you, but I think you started already to allude to this.
Yeah.
Where would you see like that main competitive advantage? You spoke about that large, high quality volumes. Where else would you see, as a main competitive advantage when somebody goes with Gooten?
Yeah, it really it's across the board on we just think of ourselves as enterprise scale. So
Hmm.
we want businesses to come to us, and so we typically, um, I always use the phrase, it's like we understand how to work with enterprises, right? Which means, as you probably know, enterprises want more hand holding. So we have customer success teams and customer success consultants up front that help the businesses even understand how to use on-demand manufacturing, how the economics work, what are trends that we're seeing in the industry, how to price products out, how to build products. So there's a lot of upfront consulting work that goes in, that I think that's the starting point. A lot of our competitors, it's very just self-service. It's like, go set it all up and figure it out yourself, or here, watch a webinar. We try, because we're dealing with bigger companies, we give people direct access to US based account management teams that, again, it's not just simply helping take orders, it's let us add value to getting all set up.
Hmm.
And then the real two other things that kick in is we actually ourselves are not the manufacturer. So we actually have a network of over 45 manufacturers in 71 locations. And so what we do is what's called dynamic routing. So
Hmm.
when an order comes in for us to say print a t-shirt, we look at where's the final destination going, like where's the consumer supposed to receive this, and what kind of print is it, what color t-shirt is it, and so on. And we basically route the order to the right location so that we can optimize for production times as well as ship times. So like a good example is, let's say I went to one of our merchant stores and I was buying you, Lucas, a T-shirt for delivery in Germany. Well, instead of printing it in the US, we would just route the order to one of our manufacturers in Germany and have it printed locally, so that then it can arrive in a few days and not have to go through customs for 30 days, not have to pay extra in shipping and so on. So
Very
this
good.
notion of dynamic routing is
Mhm.
something that we think is very special.
Super interesting. I want to switch gears a little bit and
Yeah.
learn about you as a leader, right? Like, what's the type of content do you consume, and like, how do you sort of keep on educating yourself?
Oh man, I try to do it all, and my team probably hates me for it because I stay up late every night. I have 2 young kids, so after they go to bed, like I stay up, reading and watching videos of all different kinds of things. Um, I, I'm just naturally curious about stuff, and
Mhm.
so for me, I love to learn about different technologies and different data sets that are out there, different executions that marketers are doing, different technologies that are being built by startups. So
Mhm.
I really try to cover a number of different disciplines,
Mhm.
and I love to take in lots of different bits of information to then try to figure out, what ultimately like I should do for my, job. In this case at Gooten, uh, I always feel like if I'm not doing that, I'm going to miss opportunities, and so I don't like to miss opportunities.
Very cool. Since we're slowly coming to an end of the
Yeah.
interview, I want to jump into our rapid fire questions. Are you ready
All
for those?
right. Let's do it.
Very good. What's the last book that you read?
Uh, well, I read a Dr. Seuss book to my daughter last night, all about dogs. So it was a Dr. Seuss educational book about dogs.
Pretty cool. What's one single thing that the company is focused on the most at the moment?
We're focused on ensuring consistent quality in manufacturing because we have so many different manufacturers and we're routing orders all around the world. We want to ensure that every single order gets processed and manufactured and shipped exactly the same.
Mhm.
And that's a hefty challenge for us.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be the one thing that you wanted to have fixed for the company?
So the thing I've been exploring heavily is related to certainly my role and this new website and as we've been talking about like lead acquisition and managing all of that. Um, I'm a huge fan in seeing can we use things like artificial intelligence combined with automation
Mhm.
to in essence improve my performance marketing. I still believe right now there's a lot of like manual work that has to go on. Like I have to have someone manually create all the different variants of all my ads. And then I have to manually place them at all the different outlets or channels that they're going to run in. And then I got to manually make sure that they map back to landing pages. And I have to manually decide what's on every landing page. And then, so, and then like, what are the CTAs off of that? I would love to see a world where, all of that could be fully automated, where it's just like, here's the kind of ad copy I want. Here's the types of landing pages that we have. Here's the content that we have available to landing page for the landing page, and here are the CTAs. And like, let AI figure out what's the right combination for every single visitor to optimize for a conversion event.
Very cool.
So if we could do that, I'd be really happy.
Very good. Very last question, right? If today
Yeah.
would be your very first day working with Gooten, what would be the one advice you would give yourself?
What would be the one advice I'd give myself? This isn't an industry that like you can't hire someone with like, oh, I have 10 years of print on demand experience. It's a relatively
Yeah.
new industry. And so the advice I'd probably give myself is to have pre-learned about on-demand manufacturing and the types of technology used in the on-demand manufacturing world, which are called direct, like one of the big things is called direct to garment printers.
Mhm.
And so just understanding like all the different kind of machinery that gets used, all the different techniques, because like in many ways no two shirts get printed and designed the exact same way. And so there's just a lot of nuance in all that it's taken me a year here already to learn, and I still don't know enough.
Good. Mark, I really appreciate that you took the time with us today
Yeah.
and were part of Pathmark Presents. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would forget everything about Gooten that we just discussed today, what's the one thing that they should remember?
Come to Gooten. We're a supply chain provider for on-demand services, and we simply enable you to be innovative, sustainable, and efficient with your cash flow at helping design and bring new products to market for consumers.
Thanks for being on the show, Mark.
Thanks, Lucas.